Today we will be talking about large-scale cell culture. Now, why do we need large-scale cell culture? Mammalian cell culture is widely used for the production of various types of biological products like recombinant proteins, recombinant antibodies. So all these products can be very well made by the mammalian cells. Now think about it, if we are doing it in those T25 flask, T75 flask, the amount of proteins that we get out of those, will that be enough for our purpose? No. We need a larger scale of culture for production of substantial amount of recombinant proteins. For that, we have developed large scale cell culture. Now we know all by now that cell cultures are of two types. One is adherent, the other one is anchorage independent or the suspension cell culture. Both these types of cell cultures can produce these recombinant proteins. The recombinant proteins which are made in these cell cultures can be stored inside the cell as intracellular protein which keeps on accumulating in the cell, or it can get secreted in the external medium. So depending upon how the protein is being made, is it getting secreted out, is it getting stored inside the cell, how much of protein folding or post-translational modification is required in the cell, depending on all that, we need to do a strategic planning, like what type of cell culture, large scale cell culture we require. We need to choose the appropriate cell line. Let's say there is a simple protein which do not require much of post-translational processing. For such proteins, we can use a cell culture of bacterial or yeast type. Some proteins which require a little bit of post-translational modification, that post-translational modification may not be supported by the bacterial system or the yeast system. In that case, we need to move a slightly higher level of culturing system and we use insect culture. For those proteins where we require a high level modification, post-translational modification, we generally use mammalian cell line. So these are the strategic planning which we need to do to think whether we require the product in the form of secreted one or in the form of inside the cell. By lysing the cell we can take the product out, or what type of cell line we are going to require. Let's move on to the next slide. So now we decided what type of cell line we require depending upon the protein which we are trying to make. Now all these large scale cell cultures are called as bioreactors. Now we have to decide how they are going to function depending upon what type of cells we are culturing. There are four basic modes of operation. The easiest one or the most preliminary one is the batch mode. In this mode, culture is usually run until the nutrients are exhausted, waste products reach toxic levels, so we know the cells cannot grow any further. So we are putting the nutrient, we are putting the cells together, it's a closed kind of a culture, and the cells are growing in whatever nutrient is available. The second one is fed batch culture. In the fed batch culture, initial volume of medium is only up to a certain portion of the bioreactor. It will not fill up the entire bioreactor. So that medium will keep on getting consumed by the cells that are growing. And when we realize the growth has slowed down, then we can give a little more medium. So we can only feed, we cannot remove the used up medium. The third type or the more popular type of bioreactor is the perfusion mode of reactors. In this reactor, we can achieve a very high cell density. Now, what we are doing in this? Here, we have a spinner which keeps on rotating to ensure proper mixing of gases, proper mixing of nutrients, and we have an additional device which is called as cell retention device, which allows the cell spent medium to be removed from the reactor without removing the cells. So now what we do, we are removing the spent media and adding fresh media. So this was not available either in batch or in fed batch. So this facility allows us to reach a very high cell density in case of perfusion mode. The last one is the continuous cell culture, where there is a continuous feeding of the new media and continuous removal of the spent media. Now this is generally used for very high growth rate of cells, and it helps to monitor the growth rate very well. The rate of feeding and the rate of removing the spent media will be adjusted according to the growth rate of the cells. So this is an additional feature which is not available in case of perfusion event. Let's move on. Now, as we can see in this slide, there are different types of bioreactors present. Some of them are suitable for the suspension cell culture. Some of them are suitable for the anchorage dependent cell culture. Let's concentrate on the suspension culture first. In the suspension culture, we can have either the products formed in the cell, that is, they are accumulating inside the cell, or the products are getting secreted out of the cell. For both these types of products, we have different types of bioreactors. The first one is the spinner flask, and the one that is written B and FB, B stands for batch and FB stands for fed batch. Spinner flask is not suitable for perfusion or continuous culture. There is one known as stirred tank reactor which is suitable for all these: batch, fed batch, perfusion and continuous. We will discuss all these types of bioreactors one by one. Initially, we just need to know that there are different types of bioreactors which are suitable for different modes and different types of product secretion, either in the accumulation form or in the secretion form. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about the spinner flask. This is suitable for small scale suspension culture. This we can use for only batch and fed batch, not for perfusion and continuous. There is a magnetic rotator which helps in mixing of the nutrients and mixing of gases. This entire spinner flask can be put inside the CO2 incubator to give them the proper environment. However, we cannot monitor the condition of the cells or the cell culture very well. We do not use probes, that is pH probes or oxygen probe in this case. An advanced version of spinner flask is called as stirred tank bioreactor, which is generally used for large scale cultures and suitable for perfusion and continuous culture. This can be fully controlled by the help of different types of probes attached to it. It can have measure oxygen, it can measure pH. For reproducible results, it is the best type of bioreactor. It gives a long-term reproducible results. And to this we can also attach different autoclavable units which can be separately autoclaved. So that's the advantage of using. Let's move on to the next slide. Spinner flask and stirred tank is most suitable for suspension cell culture. Now let's move on to how to do adherent cell culture using large scale bioreactors. The simplest one is a roller bottle. We take a bottle like structure in which we put the medium and put it in the slanting phase or the horizontal mode. This roller surface or the surface of the bottle gives a large surface area and it keeps on rotating, on rolling. So with a small amount of media, it is covering up a large surface. Hence, the cells can grow with a minimal volume of the media. Now all these cells are giving out or secreting products. So those products can be easily collected from the media. If you actually take out the media, and in that the products will be present. The cells, since they are adherent, they will be sticking to the bottle. Hence this type of culture is suitable for secreted products. Another advanced version of adherent cell culture is to use microcarriers or microbeads. So these are small spheres which can be solid sphere. On top of that the cells can grow. So the beads will give the surface for the cells to grow. Or sometimes they are even porous beads. So the inside of the bead is also giving the cells space to grow. So imagine so many beads are there and the cells are growing on top of it and as well as inside it. So there is a huge surface area available for the cells to grow. Unlike other adherent cultures, it is not suitable for the secreted products because your cells are growing inside the beads. So if you want to get the products out, you have to lyse the cells along with the beads. Then only you will get the products out. So instead of the secreted products, this type of adherent cultures are suitable for intracellular products. Let's move on to the next slide. Now we will talk about another type of large-scale culture for adherent cell types. We all have handled culture plates, right? So now imagine that we are stacking these culture plates one on top of the other. And there is an inlet for letting the media in and taking the spent media out. And whatever media is available, it is circulating throughout all these stacked plates. So you don't have to fill 5 ml media per flask. So let's say if you have a stack of 10, you can give total of 20 ml of media, which will keep on circulating throughout the all 10 stacked plates. So it will save upon your media. Apart from that, you can also fix up probes for monitoring the culture conditions like pH probe, dissolved oxygen probe, etc. Another type is packed bed bioreactor. In this, the microcarriers which we already talked about, those microcarrier beads are packed in an inner compartment of the bioreactor. And the cells are present in the beads. So the cells are present in the inner compartment, the media is present in the outer compartment. So whatever media we are putting in, taking out, all that is happening in the outer compartment. It's not that the two compartments are completely separate. There is an exchange of media, there is exchange of gas between the inner compartment and outer compartment. Then why are we doing this two compartment system? Because when we are letting in the media and taking out the media, there is bubbles created, there is mechanical shear force that is created by the fluid. And all that shear force can harm the health of the cells. We do not want that. We do not want the cells to suffer from any kind of stress. That's why we are keeping the cells in the inner compartment on top of the microbeads, safe from the mechanical stress caused by the liquid flowing through the outer compartment. Let's move on to the next slide. Another type of microcarrier cell culture is fluidized bed reactor. In this, we have the microcarriers present in a inner compartment, but those microcarriers are much larger and have much higher buoyancy. So what happens? The microcarriers will tend to float on the fluid medium, and the fluid we are sparging or putting inside the system through the holes which are present below. So the fluid is going in, gases are created, gaseous bubbles are produced only in the bottom part. Nothing is happening at the top where our cells are. The cells are present on the top of the reactor where the more buoyant microcarriers are carrying those cells. So here my cells are not facing the damage that is caused by the gas bubbles due to letting the sparging. One more type is the hollow fiber bioreactor, and here we have the small set of fibers which is carrying the medium. The cells are present outside the fiber in between the luminal space. So there are multiple fibers which is carrying the media, and the space between the fibers is carrying our cells. So there is no direct contact between cells and the medium, again for the same reason that it will reduce the shear stress when we are letting in the media or taking the spent media out. So all these different types of techniques that have emerged, fluidized bed or hollow fiber or your packed bed reactor, all these are trying to minimize the cellular stress which is being caused by the letting in of media or bursting of the gaseous bubbles which are getting created. Let's move on to the next slide. Type of bioreactor which we are going to discuss is the wave bioreactor. You have cell culture being done in disposable culture bags, plastic bags like you see. Same as that, the material is little different. Disposable sterile culture bags put on rockers. So that rocking motion helps a little amount of media cover up the cells for a longer period of time. So we have waves of media being created due to the rocking motion, which will help in not only in nutrient mixing but gaseous exchange, and will also save upon the media. So you can either grow suspension culture in those bags, or you can even put in microbeads in which you are embedding the cells either on the surface or even inside the beads. So it is suitable for both type of culture, that is at suspension also and adherent also. And to all these bioreactors we generally attach different types of probes which will measure the oxygen level, which will measure the pH. Let's move on to the next slide. The entire content of this presentation has been taken from Current Protocols in Immunology, which was published in 2004 by Nicole A. Blackman and Joseph Sloak. Thank you.